Find your niche.
Hello everyone, Christopher Dillard here again with the Niche Finder. As we head into episode number 16, we are headed into the month of April right here in 2025. Can you believe it? The year is scooting right on by. I'm so delighted. Had a wonderful opportunity to talk to this gentleman who you'll see very shortly here. But before I talk about him, let me remind you to go to the YouTube page and click on right there at Christopher Dillard Media. And when you get there, please hit that subscribe button right there so that you can follow us, so that you can see when we release new episodes. And wonderful interviews are already there in its entirety. You can see the full episodes already right there on that YouTube page. So make sure you stop by right now. I know you got your phone in your hand, so please stop by Christopher Dillard Media right there on YouTube. Right now, episode number 16, we're talking to a gentleman who was once a gospel director in the Greenville area on radio every Sunday morning. I had an opportunity to fill in for him in studio when he was not there. That's before all this computer stuff now. And gave me an opportunity right there in radio. He serves our community as a teacher still, as a mentor, working with young men, doing so much right here in our area. And he's going to tell you what he's doing right now, but he's still serving in his community, just being himself. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Richard Dawkins right here on this episode of The Niche Finder. So you're going to be absolutely blown away by this gentleman. Great wisdom right here as we talk to Richard Dawkins right here on The Niche Finder with Christopher Dillard. Watch this. And it's Christopher Dillard here again with the Niche Finder. And you know what? I don't have to say anything. I don't have to say a name. I don't have to give his accolades. All I need you to do is just look at who's sitting across from me, and you can see what this gentleman, who this gentleman is, and what he has meant to our community. And I'm so honored. This is an absolute honor to have one I'm about to interview right now, who I learned who he was years ago. He gave me opportunity to work in radio, and I'm so privileged and just so honored, and was so blessed to meet this gentleman who's sitting across from me right here. Let me tell you who he is. Before I tell you who he is, I'm going to tell you what he's done. He is the coordinator right now in the Center for Student Advocacy at Greenville Technical College for the past 10 years. He coordinates and implements campus-based student diversity programs, student leadership development opportunities, and special campus-based programs for underrepresented student cohorts. Also, he empowers students to take an active and collaborative role in their learning through personalized and structured tutoring, engagement, study groups, academic skills, and counseling and workshops. Now, that's a mouthful, I know. But he's just absolute servant of our community, has done so much in media. And I am so delighted, ladies and gentlemen, to have Richard Dawkins, Elder Richard Dawkins, I call him, right here on the Niche Finder today with Christopher Dillard.
Chris,
Man, look at you. I'm not going to even say how old Richard is. That's up to him if he wants to.
Well, I like to tell it.
Okay.
I like to tell it.
Just look. I just want you to look at him. Just a picture of health. Always taken care of himself and look great.
It's at 75.
75.
Yeah.
75. Yeah. How have you been, man?
Man, I've been wonderful. God is
listen to the voice, everybody. Just listen
God
to the voice.
God is just so good. Chris, and it gives me pleasure just to sit across from you to understand that. I remember your first day, and I remember you asking me, because I tried to go back to that period of time, but we're here or there, but it's just a pleasure to be here with you.
Absolute honor. When I was thinking about it today before I got here, when I started in radio, and I'm like, I didn't know a thing about that computer, setting that mic up, getting things together to try to even attempt to fill in for Richard Dawkins at that radio station. Wow. I'm like, he had to have helped me a whole lot. He probably got sick of me, but
No.
I tell you what, I just thank you, Richard, for taking me in and helping me, because radio was a passion of mine, still is.
Yeah.
And you just took me in, and I was so delighted to fill in for you at that radio station. What did that mean for you to be able to serve in that capacity and be a voice each and every week in our city, in a very popular market of doing gospel music, spinning records? How did
It
that?
was God.
Yeah.
It was all God. Even how I required the job. I mean, my wife and I would spend time in Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's where I got my start. And we then, when we moved to Atlanta, we were only in Atlanta for probably 3-4 years, and we decided, because our parents were getting much older, that we would come back to Greenville.
Okay.
And that time, I was working for Capitol Records.
Yes, we're gonna bring
Yeah,
that up.
and
Yeah.
so I landed here in Greenville, and the area that I was responsible for was North and South Carolina and Georgia at the time. So
Wow.
it was just a pleasure to be here. But something that I did every day before I went on the air was to pray.
Yeah.
And I would say to God, God, I don't know these people. These are your people. I said, whatever you want me to engage in, you know them, you know their needs.
Sure.
Just help me understand that, to do that, to say that to them. And since then, I mean, it's been a blessing to even hear people now.
Yeah.
Now, I've been off the air since 2004.
Wow.
I still get people to run up to me now to say, I was in this situation when I was listening to you, and you said this or whatever. So I'm just so thankful God used me in that period of time.
Isn't that amazing how you think you're just going in to do a job, but how God will give you something to say that will inspire, that will help someone in their life where they are.
Yeah, that's true. But you and Lenny came out of nowhere, and the good Lord spoke and said, "Hey, use these young men,"
Yeah.
So.
Oh my goodness! I tell you, the doors that have opened just from that for serving and filling in for you, you have no idea, including what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
But Richard, you have given your life to service, to mentoring, to teaching, to volunteering. Why is it that you have given your life, it seems, to this of who you are, where you're able to serve others, help young people, especially young men, help lead them, tell them about education, let them know how important education is? How is it that you have come to give your life in this capacity?
I think, Chris, it really goes back to my beginning of trying to find out who Richard Dawkins is.
Come on now.
So I was always asking God, always searching for that thing that He created me for.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what I've discovered. Even, I look at, there were times I actually Googled my name.
Really?
And searched. This is how deep I was within that framework of finding who out Richard Dawkins.
Sure.
I even went down. So my birthday is January 27th, 1949.
Okay.
I actually went back to that period of time and what happened when the whole thing. It's interesting, the babies that were born on January 27th, period.
Okay.
Like that. It's amazing to me how many babies were born and families had given them name Richard.
Oh, wow.
I was blown away. What is this, And that just started the trend. I'm saying, wow, God created all these individuals.
Yeah.
And their name, even in the case of Dawkins, is finding how these families, that baby son's going to be named Richard or whatever.
Wow.
So that just started the thing within my whole framework of where I was and how God has me in this world of ours or whatever. So I've done that same thing with even my family.
Sure.
I am appreciative
that
God allowed me to be in Jesse and Eloise's family.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I am in Jesse and Eloise's family, like that. So I've been just in search of that whole thing.
Is it any particular one word that God called you, or is it a phrase? What do you think particular God called you? Did he? And the reason why I say that is because one day in meditation, God said, I want you to be you're my conduit. I want you to be my conduit. And Richard, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never been a grade A student. I've never been one who was
same here
on the road student. I had to go look up the word.
I
I'm
know,
like,
I know
God,
what you're
you want me
saying.
to be your conduit. Actually went and looked up the word, and he was letting me know, I want you to be my channel, one that I use and I flow through. And from that, when I learned that's who God was calling me to be, he's using me in the capacity of doing this as his channel, as his vessel, and using me. So is it any phrase that you heard maybe in meditation or quiet time or prayer that God called you?
I can't think of one, Chris. I know that I am an encourager, and this is the other thing I even tell the young men that come in here. So you've been given a name.
Come on.
So you need to find out why you were given that name. So in that regard, that is the same thing with Richard. Like I told you, I Googled it, and what comes up is Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
Now, this is the atheist Richard Dawkins.
That's right.
And, I'm really happy that his parents gave him that name. So if somebody was looking for me, they wouldn't find me because all of Richard Dawkins' information would come up.
That's right.
Not until you go down 5 or 6 layers within the Google frame that you will find me because of the Greenville Tech situation. But I think about that. But the good Lord has really given me the opportunity to be a conduit for him. So I like that.
Amen, Richard. Richard, you are passionate about getting more African American men interested in education. As a coach for the Call Me Mr. program at Greenville Tech, which you assist several male students in their quest to become teachers. The program is supported by Clemson University Research Foundation and Greenville Tech Foundation. And you're also a veteran of the U.S. Army. Wow, you had a tour of duty in Vietnam. I didn't know that about you until I read your bio. I'm like, man, this man was in Vietnam.
Yeah.
How did that shape you as a person who is just so enthralled in the community? How did the service part of it?
I think
how does that shape?
That period of my life is when I really discovered God and how I meant to Him.
Yeah.
My 3rd week in Vietnam, I was in quartermaster, so I was working at support. Everything that I got in the Army that I asked God for, He would always give it to me. Right. So one day it was about 115 degrees, and I was crossing the road, and the spirit within me said, "You're gonna have an accident. Don't worry about it."
Wow.
So this brother from Birmingham, I'll know that's my Birmingham connection. I'll never forget it. He was giving everybody a ride, and I got up on the vehicle. It was a huge forklift, and my foot got caught under the tire. He ran right over.
Wow.
And there was someone behind me, like that. So that just started this relationship with the God that I knew God was in my life and that He was with me.
Yeah.
And that's the way it started. I have some more stories of that.
I'm sure you do.
I don't want to take up all the time.
No.
But God is the reason in making that connection for me. And everything that happened after that was just so amazing. Eye-opening.
That's awesome, Richard.
And there's a book out with me telling that story. I get to Greenville Tech, and there was a professor wanted to do something with Black soldiers in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
And she met me. She called me up one day, and she says, "I understand you were in Vietnam." She says, "I'd like to hear your story."
Wow.
So myself and 4 other brothers from the upstate area, we talked to her. She taped it, and she created a book, and it's found on Amazon.
I was going to say, where can we find the book?
Yeah.
What is it entitled?
It's called African American Males, Vietnam. It just slips me right now.
Okay.
What it says.
Interesting. I'm gonna go find that, Richard. So, Richard, you're speaking of education. You're speaking of your experiences. So, this is a question I had because I wanted to make sure I was well prepared for this interview. Why do you think education is the absolute key to breaking so many barriers off of our lives? And I can't help, because I am a black man, you're a black man.
Yeah.
So we think about our generations coming behind us.
Sure.
Why is it so key that they get an education, and how does that really kind of propel them forward in ways that sometimes they don't even realize?
Well, it means so much. You were talking about earlier, me having an education at that point, and where I am now is totally different. So you learn every day. You learn every day.
Sure.
You get to keep, and I always go back to my mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
So my mother, because the time she grew up, only finished the 6th grade.
Wow.
And my father only finished the 10th grade.
Okay.
So here they are producing a family and their children or whatever. So in that, my mother had a sharp mother's wit. Back then, that's what they would call it. She would pick up on things easy, quite easy. You just teach. And we talked about this in our families. All of her children and grandchildren is the same way. You give us something and we pick up on it just like that. And we got it from my mother, through that aspect of it. So that's the way I am. When I came to Greenville, I never thought as a kid growing up in this area that I would be at Greenville Tech and being a part of that.
Isn't that amazing?
This whole framework.
Wow.
But God, you look at God again, like that. So I'm learning every day. When I bring the students in, I learn from them in that process. Like that.
I mean, literally, you're shaping minds. God is using you to impress upon these young minds, and I'm sure it's something you giving somebody every day that they'll never forget. These students around here, you probably don't even realize that.
Even when I was on the air at jams, I would pray before going there. God, that prayer, And I'm amazed at what's happening really now. There's a young lady downstairs. I had to take a student downstairs, and she says, I heard you were on the radio, And I said, yeah. She said, what were you on the radio? And I told her from 1997 to 2004. She says, I was a baby, just like that. She went home and told her mother 2 days ago that I met Richard Dawkins. So I saw her yesterday, and she said, yeah, I went home and all I talked about, I met Richard Dawkins. She says, even when you were on the air, I was only 7 years old,
oh, my
like
goodness.
that. So
wow.
I still get that. I still get people saying, you were on the air, you did this, and you said this. And
what do you think? I'm looking at my time. What do you think your proudest moment is in life? Is it family? Is it how God used you in media? Is it education? Is it what you're doing now? What do you think is probably to date your greatest, proudest moment of your life? What do you think?
I guess for me is the people that I've met along the way. And I just thought about this, how, excuse me, I have hay fever that's been, that I meet. It's just amazing. So I pray that God will give me the things that I knew that I need as I meet people.
Yeah.
So I really believe that it's not by accident that people come together. There's a reason for it.
Absolutely.
And what happens is you're supposed to give that person you meet something, and in return they give you something.
Absolutely.
And for me, that's what has happened over the years. I got a call last week from somebody I had met in Jackson, Mississippi, and almost 44 years ago. Almost 44 years ago.
Wow.
And he was trying to reach out for me. He said he had called me twice in the last 2 weeks and couldn't get me. And I was eating one day here, and my phone rang, and it was him. It was James Bennett. And he said, I've been trying to get you. And he owned a record store in Jackson, Mississippi. So that was the thing. He's in a nursing home there. He hadn't some physical problems,
Mm-hmm.
but he had to get next to me, and all he wanted to do was tell me how much he loved me.
Wow.
That's all he said.
Oh, my
When
goodness.
you were in Jackson and when we were connected, the things you said to me
Oh,
during that
wow.
period of time, and I said, I
Is
was
that
almost
amazing or
crying.
what?
I'm amazing.
Man.
So I get that a lot. It's just, and that's what I pray for is those people that I meet that you got to understand. I look at everybody as kingdom people.
Yeah.
And we're going in the same direction, and that's just like my prayer list.
Mm-hmm.
Every morning at 5 a.m. I have this prayer, and I pray over my prayer list. And Chris, you're on that prayer list.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah,
Really?
That's what I do. I collect
that is awesome
names and people, and
wow.
And through that.
Now you're talking about meeting people and the people that you have met and us impacting them and hopefully also them impacting us. And of course, in a popular, hopefully a positive way. But let's just talk about it now. When you were in Mississippi, you were at a radio station there. This is when you were with Capitol Records. You were regional promotional manager. Now let's just talk about some people that you have met and worked with.
God.
And this is amazing. We're talking about the late Tina Turner.
Yes.
We're talking about MC Hammer. We're talking about BB and CC Winans. We're talking about Freddie Jackson, Melba Moore, Natalie Cole, George Clinton, Nancy Wilson, and frankly, Beverly and Mays. All these people that you have had some type contact with because of what you were doing at Capitol Records.
Yeah.
And these are big names in music. Most of these are not gospel at all, except for BB and CC.
Yeah.
How was that? What was that like? I mean,
let me say
were you
this.
starstruck?
No, I wasn't, because I've learned this about God.
Yeah.
We have a thing going on, and everything I've asked him for, he has given me.
Yeah.
I tell my students that all of my dreams have come true.
Wow. What a testimony.
I remember in Vietnam, soldiers, you listen back in America, listening to music. And during that time that I was in Vietnam, I Bring the Boys Home by Frida Payne was really big.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with Frida Payne. Frida Payne, I guess that's why my wife's name is Frida too as well. And I was fascinated by that.
Yeah.
And my first couple of weeks at Capitol Records, this lady was on Capitol, and her name was Frida Payne. She was the person that sung the song. I was blown away about that.
Wow.
The whole thing. So that's been my whole thing. Like I said, it's about meeting people or whatever, and over the years with that, I've been amazed of the people. Wasn't starstruck. I was just thankful to the good Lord and what I needed to give these people while they were in my space.
Sure.
And that's been my whole focus.
Richard, as we kind of get to the crux of what this podcast is about and why we do what we do. And I know that you're a spiritual person. I've known that. I knew that from day one of meeting you. But can you tell the people why is it that faith in a person's life is so important and how it absolutely changes the trajectory of a person's life when they really find God, and we as Christians, we call him Jesus, and how it is he just really catapults your life when a person comes to find faith. Because there's so many people say, you Christians, all y'all want to talk about is God and Jesus and prayer, and we get so sick of hearing that. Well, there's a reason why we talk about it. Because and you can say you don't believe it all day, but we know what it has done for our life. And so why is it so important for a person to choose faith and choose that relationship with their Creator?
What's important is the fact that God chose them.
Oh, come on, preacher!
And in that,
that's awesome.
He really saved me. I look at the fact how he rescued me. Like I was on the way to hell. I mean, really, literally. So I'm thankful every day.
Yeah.
How God keeps me and directs me. situation at my home just yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and without the prayer, without calling God, and without having faith,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I would have gotten through it. So
Man.
that's and He proves
Come on.
to me,
Yeah.
Jesus
Come on.
proves to me every day how much He loves me,
Mm-mm-mm.
how much He
Woo!
loves me,
I'm getting chill bumps.
and I'm thankful for that.
Wow.
I'm thankful for that, and
Wow.
it really goes back to, like I said, see, when He blew into Adam, and Adam became a living creature.
Yeah.
I mean, He did that same thing for you and I.
Man.
I mean, it's amazing. So,
Wow.
what's important is it's what's found in 2 Corinthians, the 7th chapter, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a vessel full with power,
Power.
Holy Ghost power,
Wow.
and I don't mind exerting that to what He's given me.
Mm-hmm. So really, what you're just saying is faith is absolutely crucial
Oh,
for
definitely.
a person's life, right?
Oh, definitely.
It was not until you say it was not until you went through
Come on now.
some things that
Yes.
you understood your
Yes.
purpose. One person understands their purpose, and God shows you what you were created to do after having gone through some of the things we have to go through in life. You say when we arrive on earth, we arrive on earth at that same level, but it's us having the many situations and surroundings that we go through that we live to tell our own story.
Yeah.
When you pull back the layers, you said it's all about, I love this word, you say it's all about love.
It's all about love.
What does that mean? What do you mean by it? When you pull back the layers to our life and who we are and why we're here on earth, you say it's all about love. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Chris, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if it was not love.
Wow. Man.
Think about it.
Come
Let's
on,
go
man.
go back. So when did I meet you? And
1990.
right. So it was love that brought us together.
Wow.
But this is the main thing of that, how I would answer it, because God is love. So you're part of the kingdom. I'm part of the kingdom. At some point, you were born.
Yeah.
You were created, and we met. God says, well, I need to get Christopher Dillard and Richard Dawkins together at some point.
Wow.
And through I'm much younger than you.
I'm
just messing with you, Chris. But how thoughtful God was that we were able to connect.
Sure.
So I wouldn't be sitting with you right now if love didn't.
What an absolutely great perspective. What a way to put that. I have never seen love in that way until you just say it.
That's the same thing with my work study. I introduced you to my work study.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just sitting down talking. And I was working in another area. She's a student here at Greenville Tech.
Oh, wow.
And we was just talking and everything. And all of a sudden, I got up and did something, raised my hand, and she said, that voice, the voice. And she said, you're Richard Dawkins. Once again.
Amazing.
And now she is working in our office space, so is what I give her the time that she's here is important to where she's going.
Right. I got you. Richard, as I stated a few minutes ago, we started this podcast in hopes of inspiring people to find their purpose in life, what it is that God has called them to do. Now, you seemingly have found yours.
Yeah.
In some regards.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
You found what it is that you're called to do.
And love it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the key, and love it. Because so many people get up and we go to work and we do this and we do that, but we're not loving what we do. Yeah. We're not in our calling.
And getting paid for it too.
For it. You getting paid for what you love to do.
Yes.
Now, to me, that's life.
You wouldn't work for the rest of your life if you found something that really is important. And that came from the movie that Denzel Washington was in.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when that line was said.
Oh my goodness.
If you find something that
you love, you're passionate about, you'll never work another day in your life.
Never working it. I never worked it. No, I worked. God just got me doing what I did. And I have to say that, even in Malden where I live, I'm a part of the T Mall Day. We minister and actually mentor boys 6 to 12 years old. Wow. And we do that same thing from single female homes. And there's a difference,
Yeah.
that niche. These young boys having a tough time too as well.
Wow. And so you're making an impact in those lives of maybe some young boys who feel like, for whatever reason, dad is not there and they're trying to find who they are.
True.
And here you are, we got a group of these positive Christian men stepping in their lives and say, here, let me help you. Let me help you. Let me show you have purpose. That's amazing. That's what I mean by you giving your life of service. So Richard, here's, as we bring it home, here's the question. Because there's somebody out there say, I've heard you and Richard talk about faith. I've heard y'all talk about God. I've heard y'all talk about scripture. But here's the thing. They like, first of all, I don't believe in God. I don't want to have anything to do with God. I don't quit talking to me about that God stuff. But then they'll turn right around and say, I don't know what my purpose is in life. Will you help me find my purpose? How can I find what it is I'm called to do? So they can say in one aspect, they don't have this faith. They don't believe in this God. But in the same breath, they're saying, I don't know what it is I'm supposed to be doing in my life. How is it that you can, or what is it that you would tell them as to how they can find their purpose in what it is they are called to do?
Two way. Just ask him. Just you remember Jesus we were talking about?
That same Jesus.
Yes. Just ask him.
Yeah.
And listen for the answer. Listen for the answer. And the other thing I would want those that are tuned in to do is to go back in their own life. See, your purpose has been chasing you all along. It's been trying to catch up with you.
Wow.
And you've been so busy. See, when we were created and we came out in this sin-sick world, sin has really brought us down.
Yes,
and that's the whole thing. But our purpose has been chasing us. If you would stop and think, and that's what I was doing. I was looking, seeing, and things kept reappearing and the whole thing. And I said, oh, wow, man, that's it. That's it.
So even for the person who don't believe in faith, don't believe in God, you're telling them that God is really the God that they say they don't believe in is seeking them.
Right.
Really trying to show them that he's real. Right. And show them that they really do have a purpose while they're here on this earth.
That's true.
Is that what you're saying?
He's been in your life from the very beginning.
Wow. And you say, listen to God.
Yes.
Pretty much.
I'm telling you, try it one time. Just talk to him. And you'll be surprised how he talks back too.
He talks back. He really does. You remember you asked me when I came in, you said, Chris, how is it that you have come to do this with this podcast? Where did this come from? How did you? And I told you it was in a quiet prayer time. It was in a meditative state.
Yes.
I was praying and I heard God say, this is what I want you to do.
Yes.
I want you to start this podcast. I'm like,
yes.
What?
Yeah.
That was in prayer time.
Yeah.
So you absolutely right. He does speak. If we just take time enough to stop and listen and meditate, he does speak.
Yeah. It's not by accident that we're sitting here right now.
No, it's not.
Because the good Lord had to put it in your whole thought wave. Yeah. Why don't I ask Richard Dawkins?
And he did. He put it in my thought.
So that's part of the thing. God's in everything. I'm telling you, God's in everything. Everything. So all you have to do is just ask him. I dare you. Just ask him. And he'll give you an answer.
Thank you so much, Richard. I told you the time would go quick. I told you it would. In these last few moments, what is it? Is there anything else you would like to leave with the people to inspire their life? If this was your last time and you knew that you were getting ready to go be with Jesus right now, and I'm not wishing nothing on you, Richard.
Right.
But what is it that you would want to leave the ear that is listening? What is it that you would want to impart in someone to encourage them right now?
I think the most important to understand is you have a purpose in your life. We all do. And God can make it clear to you that aspect of it, because what's living inside of us is the spirit that he gave Adam from the very beginning. And we have that same spirit that's running within us. It's like a flicker. It's we talk about that love is right there. It's just right there. So we just slow up and really take time, we can take advantage of that.
Put these phones down for a minute.
Oh yeah, it's funny you should say that. That's my thing every day, is change the way I perceive things that I'm seeing. So Chris, I get up every morning about 15 minutes before 5, my prayer time, because I had to have a time to talk to him, to listen to him, because he's been in my life, and I've been doing that for a long time. So like I said, I've been here 75 years.
75.
So it's a thing, and it's amazing what comes out of it. So right now I'm in the book of Mark, and the blind man has been sitting there, and he had heard some down the line that Jesus was coming through, and he hauls out for him. He said, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me.
Yeah.
That's what I call a quickie prayer. You'll find me doing a lot of quickie prayers. Because God hears every prayer.
Yes, he does.
And Chris, he answers every prayer. So that's what I was reading this morning. And I tried it out on the Lord yesterday, and he came just like that.
Just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking to the voice that used to be in Upstate on radio every Sunday right here in the city of Greenville, South Carolina. His name is Richard Dawkins, and now he's serving and volunteering and doing so much for our communities now as a servant of God. And certainly an honor to talk to him today, and we appreciate you so much. Richard Dawkins, ladies and gentlemen.
Chris, thank you so much.
And as I always say at the end of the program, that is a wrap.
I found my name.